So hello and welcome to the video, and welcome to cabin 10611 on the Norwegian Gem. Not a particularly large cabin, it's an inside cabin. It might be a bit echoey on the sound, for which I apologise, and even despite being really small, it also has a fold down bed, as you can see behind me there. It's quite compact, but if you'd like to see a walkthrough of this cabin, and as a little bit of a bonus, a walkthrough of my mum's balcony cabin on this ship, stick around.
Hi, I'm Matt. Over the last 25 years, I've travelled a lot. I've lived in 5 countries on 4 continents. I've flown over 1.3 million miles. I've visited over 100 countries, every American state, but I'm nowhere near done. So hit subscribe to see where I go next, and perhaps get some inspiration for your next trip.
So I filmed that introduction sitting in the wardrobe, and I'll only be able to tell when I edit this whether the gag really worked or not. But nevertheless, it is not a large cabin, as you will see behind me. In fact, it is probably the smallest cabin I have ever been in. So, where was my cabin? As usual, I wanted the highest deck possible and a cabin close to, but not right on top of, an elevator. And as I was travelling with Mum, I wanted a vacant balcony cabin to be close by. Deck 10 worked on this occasion, down a corridor reminiscent of a Vegas casino built in the 1980s. I'm getting Mirage vibes. This was my mum's cabin, which I'll show you a little later, and a few rooms further down this delightfully retro corridor was mine. So in through the door into a very small corridor, and here you have the bed, and as you can see, it is quite snug. It is even more snug because, and I did get this right in the intro, believe it or not, there is another pull down bed. Quite remarkable that anybody would attempt a relaxing week's holiday on a cruise ship with 3 people in a cabin this size. Now, it might not look like it makes a lot of sense configured like this, but I think the general idea is that these are 2 single beds that I've had pushed together, but if you separated them out, the second one would go under the first one here and would give you a bunk configuration. Although, as you can see, the distance between those 2 is not great, so heaven forbid anybody sits up suddenly in the middle of the night, because they will completely scone themselves. So it is actually a 3-bed cabin in the size that you would probably expect to find 1. Over here you have some storage, and you have a clue that this ship was constructed in 2007, which is now 15 years ago, and I don't believe it has been refurbished. It is the oldest style TV I think I have seen in a decade. It is a flat screen, but it is a very poor quality with relatively limited channel availability too, so don't come in this cabin expecting to be able to whisk yourself away with a high quality, high definition television to take you to a tropical place beyond the 4 walls of your cell. A table down here which makes access to the bed quite perilous. You cannot actually get past. It is quite a strange configuration. There is no other logical place in the cabin to put it, so I guess it has to go there, but it means you can't get in the bed if it is configured as a double. And over on this side, because you have this protuberance from the drop down bed, it's actually quite tight getting in around here, as I will now demonstrate. But despite being a small cabin, it does squeeze in pretty much everything you'd find in a proper sized cabin. So you do have a little bit of a makeup space here. You could probably use it for work if you needed to. You've got 3 drawers here, which are of a decent size and depth. Little storage there with a plug and a refrigerator with overpriced water available to you. $6 for that bottle is quite exorbitant. A little bit of clothes storage up there. A wardrobe in which this video commenced, which is, I mean, it's all right for one, it's probably all right for two. It would be a real struggle if there were three of you in here. A safe, which actually didn't work for me, and some more storage units. So on a storage front, it's actually probably all right, despite being very, very cramped. And of course, no plugs beside the bed. This is the nearest plug into which I have put my fantastic adapter, and into which anything that I have on this cruise that needs to be charged needs to be plugged. Now into the bathroom, which is a pretty standard cruise ship bathroom. You don't really notice that you're in an inside cabin when you're in the bathroom. The usual facilities that you would expect. Little bit of storage, no drawers in here, but drawers on a cruise ship never seem to exist. A shower, pretty decent power, pretty decent temperature. A couple of potions if you don't bring your own. No device for getting your leg up if you need to while taking a shower in this particular cruise ship, but not a major disadvantage, I think, not being able to get your leg up in the shower. And something which really dates this cruise ship is that there is an ashtray right next to the toilet. That is quite a remarkable artifact in 2022. The one redeeming feature of this cabin is that it is very, very dark. There is only a small amount of light let in through the peephole in the door and under a very small crack in the door. So the upside has been that I have slept very, very well. This has also been a very calm cruise. So I've not experienced any mechanical noise, and I've not experienced any sense of motion either. So good sleep is the upside of being in this cabin, but there's very little other upside. I've not enjoyed much time in here, and I've generally found myself taking every excuse to be somewhere else. I saved a considerable amount of money versus my mother's room, which I'll show you shortly, by taking this inside cabin. But, you know, it really has been a bit of a struggle, and I would have to think seriously about whether I took this cabin again. Norwegian does offer a bid for upgrade system where you can try and upgrade your room. It was a pretty trivial amount, something like £100 as a minimum bid to go into a balcony cabin. You could have bid more, but as the ship is relatively empty, or perhaps only 50% full, I think there's a fairly high probability that it would have hit had I tried to bid to another room. But I do like to stay close on the deck plan to my mum, and so I didn't want to gamble on being 3 decks and half a ship away if I tried to move to an upgraded room. And I also wanted to experience what an inside cabin was like on this particular ship, and I've done that, and I'm not sure I'm going to do it again. So to my mum's balcony cabin. You'll immediately recognise the same colour scheme and design style, and you'll quickly notice that it's not exactly a huge cabin either. Large enough though to be able to squeeze a small sofa in between the bed and the windows. A very similar dressing table setup to what was squeezed into my cabin, and the identical cabinetry for the TV, wardrobe and shelving / storage unit. And of course, a balcony cabin comes with a balcony. Again, not huge, but certainly big enough to allow 2 of you to relax and to enjoy the view. And finally, a very similar bathroom. Getting tired of using the word small, so I'll go with petite and bijou this time. Similar to mine, but the major difference was that the toilet had a sliding door to afford some additional privacy if 2 of you needed to use the facilities at the same time. So thanks for watching. I hope the sound and video quality wasn't too terrible. Please like this video if you got something from it. Please subscribe if you're new. Leave me a comment. Is this a room that you think you could spend 9 nights in? And if you would like to support what I do here more directly, I do have a Patreon page, the link to which will be in the description below. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.